Part 9, I actually don't have my copy of Part 9. I think I've let somebody borrow it. I don't know who has it. If any of you Mutantville players out there realize that you suddenly have my copy of Jason Goes to Hell, please let me know so I can get it back. Not one of my favorites. I absolutely hated it the first time I watched Part 9, but I eventually grew to like it as just something different. At least the gore in it is kind of interesting. There's some great K&B effects in it. Of course, Kane Hodder returns as Jason once again. Oh, and Part 7, I almost forgot to mention, was Kane Hodder's first appearance as Jason Voorhees, and he really became the Jason Voorhees for my generation. Just the way he kind of breathed and he moved, and he would always move his head first, turn his head first as if like to focus on a target, and then he would move after it with his body, and it just kind of gave him a personality and a focus and an intent and an intensity, if you will, that really brought that character to life. Of course, after Part 9 is the one where Jason basically turns into a slug and goes up Colonel Wilma Deering's crotch for some reason, and then there's the guy from 21 Jump Street is on there, and then Friday the 13th, the series. The whole thing is insane. Jason Voorhees is barely even in the movie, but it has probably the best ending out of the entire series aside from the very first film, in that it ends with the Freddy's claw coming up out of the ground and grabbing Jason's mask. Because when that happened, that just sent off 10 years of fanboy speculation of people going, wow, when is this crossover going to happen? When is it going to happen? And yeah, they had to wait, like 10, 15 years for it to actually happen. But when Friday vs. Jason finally came down the pipe, they were able to get Jason X off the ground. And Jason X is Jason Voorhees goes to space, obviously, which is just a totally stupid concept. If you want to talk about jumping the shark, anytime you send somebody into space or put them in the hood or on the moon, you know the concept is dead. There's no more creativity left in it. But for some reason, I like it. It's stupid, but I enjoy it. It's good, dumb fun. The kills are inventive. I like when he kills the guy, puts him on the corkscrew, and the guy's body spins down. I love the girl that gets her face frozen into liquid nitrogen and then smashed into the counter. There's some fun stuff in it. Of course, the robot girl with the fake nipples on her boobs, where she wants to look normal and the nipples fall off. That's great stuff. Of course, Freddy vs. Jason. This is the first one we got to see as the group of MVP. We went to see this in the theater with a packed house. Had an absolute blast with it. We laughed and jumped through the whole thing. The whole audience loved it. It's not a deep film, okay, but it is a good film. It hits all the right beats. It could have been, by all rights, it could have been horrible. It could have been completely unwatchable, but it's not. It's very watchable, and it's a perfect group movie. It was just a perfect blending of the two genres, and nobody other than Ronnie Yu could have done it. Ken Kurtzinger did a fine job as Jason. I know he catches a lot of shit, but the guy did an excellent job. He cut a very imposing figure as Jason in Freddy vs. Jason. And it was just a really fun film. I don't think it ranks, it doesn't have the originality of either of the series, but both series had obviously run their course by the time this came around. But in terms of just a good old-fashioned monster-rama, Frankenstein meets Wolfman, Freddy vs. Jason really fit the bill. It did it perfectly, and it could have sucked. And if we ever see another one of those come around, like something like Michael Myers meets Pinhead or something, and we see how bad that turns out, then we'll realize how good Freddy vs. Jason was. And lastly, I just wanted to mention, in case you haven't picked it up yet, His Name is Jason, the documentary that basically tells the entire story of the Friday the 13th series from beginning to end. Obviously, it talks a little bit about the most recent series, and it's just a great documentary. I mean, they really talk about all aspects of Friday the 13th, from the different actors that played Jason, to the different directors that were in control of the film, to the various actors that played Jason's victims, to the different guys that did effects over the course of the series. There's a good 4 hours of bonus material. There's some uncut interviews with the different Jason actors, with some of the different writers of the films, with some of the different directors, all those things. So it's an excellent, excellent documentary to pick up. If you're a fan of documentaries, of horror documentaries in particular, you definitely want to pick up His Name is Jason. If you're just a fan of the series, overall, you definitely want to pick it up. And if it's something and if you're getting into the series, or if you're not sure about it, you might want to pick it up. But even then, it's obviously it's very spoiler filled. So if you've never seen any of the movies, you don't want to watch this first. But if you're on the fence about it, it might pique your interest in that way. So here we are. It's Friday the 13th. We've had fun. We checked out the remake. We gave it a solid 6 out of 10. Not great, but it's good. It's enjoyable. It's fun to watch with the crowd. It starts out with a bang. The first 20 minutes was great. It was very intense. Mears, that played Jason in the remake, did a fantastic job. He was very intense, very powerful, quick, and just very masochistic, even sadistic. Sadistic is the word I'm looking for. And that was a nice touch to bring to the Jason character. There were a couple of beautiful women in it. There was some stupid characters running around. On the whole, the plot was simple. Spamming a can, 20-somethings getting killed, which is cool. That's what you want from a Friday the 13th film. Thought it lost a bit of intensity and focus by the end of the film, but hey, that happens with pretty much everything. So good solid 6 out of 10 for the Friday the 13th remake. We enjoyed it. Hopefully an uncut version will pop up soon. We'll get to check that out. The gore was good. The direction was pedestrian, okay at best. Probably the stuff that Marcus Nispel was best at directing was the non-horror elements, when it was just the teens running around and driving around, and they had rock music playing in the background or whatever. That was time for him to flex his video directing muscles and make it look like a video all of a sudden with rock music playing. So hey, if that's your thing, it's cool. It's all good. So 6 out of 10 for the remake. Check it out. It's definitely a solid matinee. I'd be careful about paying full price for it, unless you're going to see it with a packed house, in which case it'll probably be fun if you've got people yelling and jumping and acting a fool. It always makes for a good theatrical horror movie viewing experience, and that's the kind of stuff that we enjoy. So we will see you next time, MVP, as we continue our Friday 13th marathon, and hopefully you'll continue it too, and we'll see what happens as 2009 develops. We've got some other things coming down the road, like Rob Zombie's follow-up to his amazing remake from 2007 for Halloween. We'll get that later this year, and who knows what else we'll get to see coming our way very soon. But we'll be here with you, and we hope to see you next time. So in the meantime, MVP,